We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome everybody to the POMcast. I am your host, Stephen Willis, on this fine Tuesday morning. I'm so glad that you're joining us. A beautiful day in the palatial Central Florida studios. And I'm just really excited. Just nervous energy just bouncing off of me at this point. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that there's a big push right now for the Vault Society between now and June 30th. All donations to the Vault Society will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games like postseason, neutral site, bowl games, etc. But the big push is for the Vault Society support, which is a minimum 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year. That's a $25,000 total donations if my Simpson County math is correct. And there's a benefit chart on the site. Now, if you're asking where the site is, it is www.givetoathletics.com. That is www.givetoathletics.com. Go all there and you can see exactly what all the Vault Society has in store and what it can give for you and what it can do for you. But the most important thing is you're helping the university, and that's why we're all here. So, Vault Society, givetoathletics.com. All right. If you want to watch the podcast, which you already are if you're watching this, but you can catch us on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell, subscribe, do all that stuff for me, please, as well. It takes like 2 seconds to do. But you'll always know when we're streaming. More importantly, you'll know what we're streaming about. And we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. We have a couple of catch-alls for Ole Miss and not Ole Miss stuff that has gone up at Willis Digital Media. That is on YouTube and Twitch. If audio is more your thing, we're on podcasts. We do podcasts on numerous different platforms. We're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. We're also on several smaller podcatchers like Podcast Addict and things like that. But if we were to name them all, we'd be here all day. So we can't really do that. Today, Ole Miss in baseball plays Austin Peay. It's only a big game if something goes wrong. You don't want to tax your bullpen. You don't want to pitch too much. So you hope the young guys that go out there get the job done, and you move on to Duty Noble this weekend for a game against the Bulldogs. Or a series against the Bulldogs. But they're out there. You don't want to tax your bullpen. You saw what happened last week whenever that goes a little bit too far. But Ole Miss versus Austin Peay. I think the first pitch tonight is at 6:30. It's on SEC Network Plus, if that is something you're interested in. But a big series this weekend. Obviously, after it'll be the halfway point. If Ole Miss can win the series, just take 2 of 3. Their plus minus will be at 0. Plus minus will be at +3. They'll be trending towards 18 and 12. And the really the hard part of the schedule has gone by the wayside. Mississippi State and Arkansas already gone. They'll have LSU, South Carolina, still good clubs. And I'm not saying they're not good clubs, but you have a chance to make a little bit of a run. Ole Miss doesn't play Missouri this year, and Vanderbilt's coming to town. And we're a little over a week away from the Grove Bowl. That's the LSU series next weekend. It'll be the last game that night or that day of the LSU series. And they're doing things a little different this year with the Grove Bowl. You can get it sounds like our intro. But the baseball game will be at like 1:30 or 2:30 or something like that. And the Grove Bowl will actually be that night. It'll be the closer as opposed to a Grove Bowl in the middle and then go over to a baseball game immediately following. The Grove Bowl will be the last thing of a really packed day. I think softball has Auburn that weekend. It's going to be a packed weekend in Oxford and Ole Miss. Get on the website, olemissports.com, just for schedule information and confirm everything I'm saying when it comes to schedule, because I'm doing it off memory, and I can't be held accountable for having brain surgery moments. I'm kidding. But that is available on this state series this weekend, Grove Bowl weekend next weekend. So it's a big couple of weeks for Ole Miss athletics. So support them any way you can, via butts in the seat, or if you can make an online purchase from an official source like the Fanatics store and things like that, you can help the program as well. So that's what we're all here for. That's what we want to do. Now, in the second part of the show, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. I'm going to preach a little bit. And it's going to be all about credibility and giving it away. And how if you give it away to the wrong person, it genuinely affects your happiness, and it can affect the mood of the fan base. I noticed that when Arkansas jumped on Ole Miss, it felt a lot like the Tennessee Tech series. Just nervous energy all the way, and then just like you're waiting on the next bad thing to happen. And that's a mindset that has come from giving credibility away, honestly. So we'll hit that the second half of the show. Let's see, what else is going on? Not a whole lot. Coach O got a couple of transfers, I believe. I'll look up the names some point this week, but good point guard from East Carolina. It looks like it's going to help the team a good bit. So in women's basketball, I expect them to go from a 5 to an 8 pretty instantly with their recruiting class they had last year. Shakira Austin coming back. There's a chance for them to make a decent-sized run. By the end of the year, they were really quite good. And Rice got them, but that's really because they have like a 6'10" big man. Not a lot we can do about that. So that happened. Let's see. Kermit got Ty Fagan and Nasir Brooks to transfer into the program. That happened. In the coming weeks, I anticipate that we will get more involved with softball. We're waiting on a correspondent that is going to cover essentially Title IX sports and give a report of what's going on. And, we'll talk about softball, soccer, things like all that stuff in the background. We're going to have somebody like dedicated, responsible for that. And we're trying to put together a recruiting show. Right now, the other person's got a really hectic schedule, So we're trying to work around that. So when we're going to get that to you, so it's going to be a little bit of a recruiting show. We are going to have a baseball preview show. I'm talking to somebody Wednesday to set that up. We're going to do that Thursday. So everything you need to know about the Mississippi State series. And then Sunday, after it's over, we're going to have Chris Muller and we're going to have a reaction show, just like we always do. And it's growing. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now with Positively Ole Miss and how we're doing things. But this is all just getting us ready for football season. We're going to try and push this thing, and we're going to push this thing, and we're going to push this thing so we can get ready for football season, and so we can take in the numbers, because that's where the numbers come from. Baseball is great, basketball is great, but football pays the bills. I mean, if you look at the subscription services, the subscriber count is, if it's good, I don't know the exact numbers, but if it's between 5,000 and 6,000 people, that's considered good. And in Vaught Hemingway Stadium, there's 65,000 fans. So there's a whole market of 60,000 fans that are just right there for people to grab, and that's what we're trying to do. We're providing them an opportunity. They enjoy Ole Miss sports. They enjoy following Ole Miss sports, but they don't want to pay money for somebody else's opinion that has really, no credibility. There's nothing backing it up. So you got to be careful with the opinions. You have to be careful. Now that everything is opinion-based, you have to be much more cynical about opinions, period. I mean, or else you will be miserable. You'll think you'll have a problem. And you didn't really. It's just you were listening to the wrong person. Everybody's taking bad advice in their life, and this is going to go a little bit over that. We're going to take a short break. And when we do, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that giving away credibility and why Ole Miss has been in essentially a 30, 40-year malaise because of that. So stick around, and I'll be back with, plenty of good stuff. All right.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the POMcast. I am your host, Stephen Willis. I want to tell you about the Rebel Walk real quick. I work a little bit with those guys and do instant reactions with them, like people like Chris Muller and their baseball preview show. They do really great work, and they're expanding into the video realm through this. But in case you didn't already know, they have a pretty good print presence to begin with. And the best part is they provide a subscriber level experience, and it doesn't cost you any money. Not a thing. It's free. You can just go get it, consume it, and follow Ole Miss at your leisure. It's really a great way to follow the team, and it's not so angst-driven or anxiety-driven. So follow them at therebelwalk.com and tell them Positively Ole Miss sent you. All right. So, talking about that, the Rebel Walk and everything, they do a great job with coverage. They really do. It's kind of a refreshing brand of coverage, to be honest. But what I want to talk about for a second, and I'm not going to keep you very long, and I'm probably going to give you a couple minutes back at the end of this podcast. But we have to be careful who we're giving credibility to. We have to be careful who we're giving credibility to. Now in this world, used to, it was very few people to discern whether or not they knew what they were talking about, if they were connected, what's going on. Now everybody has a voice. I mean, it's as simple as whatever on Twitter, on YouTube, or, right here on this podcast, right here on this video cast. You have to be careful who you give credibility to, because there's ulterior motives for most everything. There's no such thing as an objective observer. Don't believe that. If they say they don't care, they do. They're doing that as a way to manipulate you. But after about the first week moved into a town and you've had experiences in that town, objectivity is basically useless. Either people have come up to you and made your life miserable, they've made your life better. Either way, that's going to affect your coverage of the events that are taking place. It's human nature. You can't get around it. It's what they do. You always have to, what is that person's ulterior motive? That's all you have to do. And you just have to be careful not to give credibility away. Because when you give credibility away to the wrong person, you have what Ole Miss has had for 50 years. You have just mediocrity and malaise. And we need to take advantage, or not necessarily take advantage, we need to take control of our own destiny and quit listening so much to outside opinions. Now, reporters report, that's fine. That's not the point. The point is, whenever we deal with opinions, that is where we get into trouble. There's a lot of people that don't know the difference between a column and a report. And a lot of people take what's happening on sports talk radio or opinion-based TV as gospel. You see it all the time. I mean, Fox News is extremely popular doing just that, just putting opinion on there and just counting on you not to know the difference between opinion and fact. And when you do that, you have much more of a critical eye to the news source. You can kind of discern who gets the credibility that's necessary, who gets the credibility on what topics. I mean, it's a free country. You can say whatever you want to. You can do whatever you want to. But that doesn't mean people have to listen to you. And there's, you need to learn the difference between doing something first and doing something well. And, if you put out a crap product earlier, it's probably going to get a lot of hits. If you put out a crap product over a long period of time, you're the only one, nobody knows any different. That's the way it works. But as we get more critical of who we give our credibility to, it'll help the overall mindset of the fan base. The "we are Ole Miss" stuff goes away. All that negative vibe stuff, waiting for something bad to happen, is going to slip away if we take control of what we want and just don't give it away to outsiders. Ole Miss needs to take control of their own mindset. They need to import positivity. They need to get rid of negativity. When they were down 11-0 against Arkansas, that whole stadium sounded like a ghost town. You could feel the nervous energy in there. Through the television, it was like just waiting on something. You thought Ole Miss was going to lose by 3 touchdowns. We all thought at that point at 11-0, it's like Ole Miss could lose by 3 touchdowns. But when they started coming back, The teams in themselves have embraced fun. That is becoming our brand. Understand that. Fun is becoming a brand associated with Ole Miss. That does not coexist well with a glass half empty mindset. Just does not. Have fun. Follow the team. Cheer the team. It doesn't matter what outsiders think. Have fun. It's yours. It's something that's supposed to bring you joy. Let it bring you joy. Don't concern yourself with outside opinions. It doesn't matter that Arkansas is upset that our baseball team had fun. It just doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, that Arkansas Twitter baseball thing that's the weirdest group of people I have ever seen. Period. It's the weirdest group of folks I've ever seen. I've never seen somebody so obsessed with others having fun. Not at all. And they think that playing a sport, playing a game, should allow them to be curmudgeon-y. You should play the game, like grumpy old men. No, you should have fun. You should do what you need to do to have fun. And yeah, I'm going to give you some time back because not a lot of stuff has happened around Ole Miss today, and anybody talking for more than 20 minutes will have a ton of filler unless something happens this afternoon. So just be careful with who you give credibility to. Otherwise, their opinion doesn't matter at all, not even a little bit. And understand the difference between their opinion and their reporting. That's all. If we do that and take control, we can maybe get out of this spiral that we're doing because we've already got a nice head start with the branding that is fun. There's nothing better than our branding right now. If we become the fun school, it's going to help everything. It's going to help recruiting. It's going to help everything, the whole 9 yards. And that's the road we are on at the moment. Now, we need to win with it. We need to win 7-8 games next year in football. We need to go to the NCAA tournament in basketball. We need to get to the NCAA tournament in women's basketball. We need to get to Omaha in baseball. But that just justifies the brand. You take the fun and the success at the same time. Now, all of a sudden, you have a chance to let this grow exponentially. Which is what we all want. And if you claim otherwise, thanks for watching and everything, but why are you paying attention at all? So, I am going to give you a couple of minutes back, really about 5 or 6, so not much happening today. But thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow we'll be back with another POMcast. We have a recruiting show. We're trying to get set up with Rebel Walk Recruiting. We have, a preview show on Thursday. We have a series reaction on Sunday. And we have a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Also, thank you for all the views yesterday. That was fantastic. It was really good, and thank you very much. And you take a couple of good minutes back today and, hotty toddy.